It is pretty early in the morning and we've come to the Mount of Olives to do a spot of filming, and now it is time to go and catch up with all the archbishops as we take a walk down the hill to the Garden of Gethsemane. The walk down the Mount of Olives is very steep, but we've made it to the bottom, and this is the Garden of Gethsemane. So by all accounts, the trees here and the olive trees here are, if not the original, part of the original family that was in the Garden of Gethsemane. So this has been around for 2,000 years.
May your Spirit enable us to experience the suffering caused by division, to see our sin, and to hope beyond all hope. Amen.
Done some filming and some photos in the garden with the Archbishop and the Primates, and the next part of today's journey is to get on a bus and go to Bethlehem, which will involve going through security checkpoints again. So I'm obviously excited for that. We made it through the Israeli security checkpoint into Palestine fine. And we are now here at the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem. And I've slunk away to a little corridor here. You can probably see an archbishop or two, or primate in the background. This is where they say that Jesus was born. And so there's a church that's been built over the site. We've gone down, we've sang songs, said prayers. The Archbishop of Canterbury is just currently in a meeting with the Patriarch of the Orthodox Church. It's a private meeting, which is why I'm outside. But they've given us a very warm welcome. We were given a small glass of Syrian cognac, which was delicious, followed by some delicious chocolate, which I haven't had a chance to eat yet, but can't wait. And then some strong Arabic coffee. So that is the best way to start the day. Shot of cognac, shot of coffee, and you're pretty much ready for everything. We are now officially done at the Church of the Nativity, so now it's time to go and jump on that bus, go through some security checkpoints, maybe this time, and get back to Jerusalem. Being in Jerusalem with a bunch of archbishops and priests and scholars means I've probably got the best tour guides that one could hope for. Even though we've been going to a lot of the very special holy sites in Jerusalem, it's been interesting to hear all of them explain the accuracy of a lot of the sites, because there's a real spectrum between a place that is definitely correctly identified. It is correctly identified in the Bible. Historians back it up. The geology backs it up. The archaeology backs it up. Everything, to something on the other side of the spectrum where it's a site that it's venerated. There's possibly a church built there to commemorate what happened, but there's a strong likelihood it did not happen there, mainly because you'll find other sites like that. So for example, just below the walls of Jerusalem, there's a church which is built on the site where Stephen would have been martyred. It's a lovely church, and it's called the Church of St. Stephen, and it's there to remember that. But of course there are other sites around here which will say the same thing. So sometimes you do have a case of a site definitely being identified as that's a key moment, that definitely happened here, but in reality, who knows? Whereas the Mount of Olives, that's where it is, that's where it's always been. There's no argument at all about it being there. The same with the Garden of Gethsemane, that's where it was, that's where it is. No one can deny that. And yesterday at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, it was the same thing, where when we went to Golgotha, Calvary, where the crucifixion took place, that is where crucifixions took place, and that's where that one would have taken place, and it fits every description of the record. And so there's moments like that are quite powerful because they are very geographically real and specific. Whereas the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, that is where Jesus was supposedly born. That's one where, who knows? There is a very, very ancient cave there, which has been commemorated over time, long ago, as being the place. But of course, no one has any way of knowing. It's my final night in Jerusalem, and we've come for dinner at the apparently very famous American Colony Hotel. And the food has been wow.
So it's my last day here in Jerusalem, in the Middle East generally. Today's the day that I fly back to South Africa, and then from there back to England. I've had a couple of hours off just to explore Jerusalem before I catch a flight tonight from Tel Aviv, which with its security reputation, I'm not really looking forward to. But the couple of hours I've had this morning have been really, really, really enjoyable. Today is the Jewish Sabbath, so some of the shops have been closed. It's been a little quieter, and when I went down to the Western Wall, I was told definitely not allowed to use my phone to take photos. Not just not to take photos, just to use my phone. Couldn't you? Yep, nope, not allowed. Just to make a change this morning, instead of coming through the Damascus Gate like we've done this week, I've come in through Herod's Gate to kind of explore the Muslim culture and the Jewish culture, and I've now ended up here in the Christian culture, back by the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which, having more time today, I've been able to walk around and take in everything at a far more gentle and reflective pace. Whereas the other day when we were here with the Archbishop and all the Patriarch and all the dignitaries, it was go, go, go. But at the same time, the other day, we got to go into all these very special places, which of course we didn't have to queue for. And today, not only do you have to queue to get into them, but some of them are just closed off because there are various ceremonies that the priests of the Orthodox Church are taking part in today.
Okay, I am now officially at Ben Gurion Airport here in Tel Aviv, and about to go and see what security has in store for me. Behind me is the shiny glitz and glam of Istanbul Airport, which means, good news, I made it safely out of Tel Aviv. There was a lot of security, which is quite a lot of understatement. Before you even get to the check-in desk, you are interrogated about your passport. And you're asked lots of questions. And I say interrogate, it wasn't that bad actually. The guy was very nice about it really. He was very confused. He didn't understand why I was born. He did not understand that my parents were and he essentially asked what were they doing there. Explained they were diplomats. Explained all the things that I've explained a million times over. But you could see he just didn't understand it. So he kind of shook his head and went and spoke to somebody else. And that person is obviously somebody who has studied an atlas for world history and must have told him, you don't have to worry about it. It's fine. And he came back and went, have a good day, sir. And then I checked in. And after check-in, you go through security. Security. Wow. I was searched pretty thoroughly, and every piece of my equipment was given a good going over and a swabbing in the works. So I made it through that. Then I got to passport control, where they wouldn't let me through that. The person there said, I'm sorry, but you've come up on the system as having to go and Yeah, I need to go talk to somebody. So I had to get out of the queue and go to another part of the airport where it was just me. That was just empty part of the airport. Yeah, I just kind of waited there, and eventually somebody turned up behind a desk and called me forward, and I went and gave her my passport, and she did not seem interested. She had her headphones in. She did not care. And on the upside, she just, whatever she did. And I ended up with a different colored exit visa to everybody else, so I don't know what that means. But I got through, and now I'm in Istanbul, so good news.